welcome back to Life, Biz, and all that jazz. I'm your host, Jasmine Lisciotto, and if you're new here, welcome. Welcome to the family. Welcome on this journey. Welcome to the start of a transformation, because that's what we're all about here. We're all about accepting who we are, embracing our power, and creating a life that really feels like ours. Today's episode, it's kind of like an impromptu one. Wasn't going to do a solo one for the next episode, but I just had so much come to my mind, and when I do, I just need to write it down and get it out. So I thought, why not make this into an episode? What I want to start with is, I feel like the start of this season, I kind of just jumped back in with that welcome episode, and I was still dealing with a lot of grief. I was ready to come back, and I was excited to come back, but I could even see just from rewatching that video, just of like the feelings in my face and my emotions. But now I'm like, I'm back. I'm going to miss Prinny forever. I had so many beautiful years with her, and I gave her everything that I possibly could, and she taught me so much. So I'm really just taking out all of that pain, all that grief, and I'm turning it into something good. Also, we have a new studio. This is at my current home, as I said in earlier episodes, but if you haven't listened, I'm currently staying with my mum while I decide on my van build, next chapter, next phase of my life, because life was so fucking expensive living on my own. And excuse the French, but I got to a point where I'm like, I'm just so over paying all this money. And I was really lucky that my brother was staying with me to kind of help me out, because I was paying $600 a week rent on my own for nearly 2 years. Then I have my investment property, which is a whole nother expense. Yeah, I've got tenants in there, but things come up, and sometimes things come up and I have to pay more. Anyway, and that's just life in general. So I was sick of my bills. My expenses were nearly $2,000 a week, and that's ridiculous. But I had to just do that to live the way that I wanted to live. And I pay for everything on my own, which I can't complain about. I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity to make money to pay for the life that I have. But I just was sick of just wasting money. So I thought, why not come here, spend some time with my family? All my family are based here. So I am here now. Yes. So this is our new studio. This is what you'll be seeing in my background, but it's not finished. I've got pictures from everywhere, quotes, some stuff's like from Berlin. Yeah, I just love it. Anyway, that's where we're at now. I just don't even know the next steps, to be honest. I was so keen to just buy a van and build a van. I'm still going to do that. I'm not saying that I'm not going to do that now, but now that I'm here and the next steps have come, I don't know if I want to spend $150,000 on a van and then building it yet. So I'm kind of just weighing things up, talking with my accountant and all that stuff, speaking with the banks to kind of see where I'm at, and then maybe do like a lesser expensive van build. Because the reason I'm doing this as well is obviously because I work for myself. I can work from anywhere. And then the second reason is to help me financially get more in front, which I feel like I've just been stagnant the last 2 years. And I know that I'm preaching to the choir here. I know everyone's in a difficult situation and it's not easy for everyone. But anyway, that's just my part for that. So that's where we're at. So that's kind of like an update. I didn't really give you a bit of an update since I had the break. I feel like that's a bit better because, yeah, like I said, I'm just feeling more myself, and this is like a new character energy unlocked. Also, I want to share this because lately I've just been feeling really like next level unlocked is one way to put it. But another thing that's really important, and I think that has come to my mind a lot, is I've really embraced me. I've really embraced who I am, and it's like zero F's given. Not caring what anyone else's perceptions are, and it's so easy to get in your head. And, you know, I used to not be in my head about this. And the last 6 months as well, before I lost Prinny and moved here, I was trying medication for my ADHD, and I'm not on medication anymore. So yes, we're a little bit unhinged and unmedicated, but we're also unmasked. And that's the purpose of this. That's where I'm getting at with all of this, because I felt like the medication dulled me. It made me sit back and not think as much, which is great for my anxiety. I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with the medication, but I just didn't like how it made me feel. It made me coast. It made me just kind of like twiddle my thumb. breaks in a way, I'm trying to say, I think. So I've decided not to take that, and that was a journey coming off that. It was insane. It was just really, really hard. And the way that I felt, look, I'm not going to rant on about that. It's not really exciting combo. But anyway, so now I'm just back to me, who I was feeling like 6 months ago. Even though all this grief and, losing Prinny, everything is still happening. I'm just at that stage right now where I feel like getting through the loss of Prinny and staying sober has brought me back to my power and who I am, and that I am enough, and I've always been enough. So that's what I wanted to share regarding that. I think another thing as well is feeling like you're too much. It's so common, and we're always dulling our sparkle to help somebody else. We dull our excitement because other people aren't excited. Well, that's not going to happen anymore. And as much as I always want to be supportive and I want to be that person that people can come to and feel like they can talk to, I'll always be there for you. I'll always be able to support you. But I think it's unhealthy if you have to dull your sparkle or dull your excitement just to please other people. So that's kind of where we're at with this one. It's probably going to be a real ranty one because I've got notes and it's going to be quite a lot of tangents. So if you're in for that, good luck. I'll just give you a warning now. One thing that I wanted to touch on as well is the reason why I stopped the medication. Because I just was saying before, I felt like I was just coasting again. And I was coasting before that, but that's different because I was drinking. And in a way, the alcohol was my medication, where in this stage it was actually proper medication prescribed by a psychiatrist. So there's different ways around that, I guess, but you're still medicating. If you're medicating, you could be using it with alcohol, actual prescribed medication, food, coffee, nicotine, vaping, weed, whatever you want, you're still medicating it and you're not fully controlling it. But now I'm fully natural. I've got some supplements that I've been taking, and I take these sleep ashwagandha, I think that's how you say it, gummies at night. But yeah, so that's what I was saying. Have felt like I've just really stepped back from a lot of things, and I know I needed to, so I don't want to put too much pressure on myself and think, you weren't doing enough, because I was doing everything that I could. But I'm talking about ideas, my hobbies, and growing my business, and just a lot of things I felt like I just stopped doing. And I love that. I love that about my brain. I'll admit my brain's really, really chaotic, but it's also a cool brain. I love the way that I think. I think outside the box. You tell me a problem, I'll give you 5 solutions. You tell me something you're worried about, I'll give you 5 things that you could try. It's something that has taken me years to master, but I'm all for it. And even the last few weeks since I've come off the medication, I have already leveled up parts of my business that I wanted to do and started other little side projects, because I've always got multiple side projects going. And that's one big thing that I love about my ADHD is I need to always have a lot going on. But then I also love to rest and just binge Netflix or watch Love Island or some reality TV show. And then we get to hobbies. I thought to myself a few months ago, I was like, I don't have any hobbies anymore. I don't really do anything other than work, and I was just hanging out with Prinny and going to the gym. But that is my hobbies are building businesses and helping other businesses. That's what I really, really like to do. And the gym is still a hobby as well. It's fitness. So that's kind of where I was getting with that. And something else, this is for my ADHDers, and other people might relate to this that aren't diagnosed, but do you go through stages where you change your style? Because right now I'm in this cute tennis soft girl style with my knitted thing, and I've got this is a tennis skirt matching set and cute little socks. And I was thinking when I was writing some notes for this episode of all the different phases that I've recently been through. So another one recently was baggy jeans and baggy shirts with quotes on them. I was vibing that. And then I went through my bow phase. I'm not sure if you've watched earlier episodes. I was wearing a different bow for every episode when I was recording it. And yeah, so that was that era. I now have 50 bows, different bows. I also, what else? What other phases did I go through? Oh, keeps a clips. But yeah, now I'm in that winter cute girl, soft girl phase. So got heaps of skirts. I've recently bought lots of stockings. So watch that era unfold because, yeah, you'll get to see it if you're following me on socials. And I don't really know if we're getting to any points in this episode. I feel like this is just a full brain dump of everything that I wrote down that I'm just getting out to you. So if you're still here now, thanks for staying along. Something else that I thought as well that I wanted to mention was if you have been listening from the start, or even if you haven't been listening from the start, you're obviously seeing the podcast name, Life, Biz, and all that jazz, as you can see here with my beautiful sign. You could be thinking, where is the biz talks? And the next episode, not the next one, we've got a few coming up. There's some about like money mindset. The previous episode I did with Sabrina, which is talking about career change, but also relates to life changes, not just career changes. So overall, I know that there's not specific topics weekly about business, but everything that I talk about and everything that I share kind of relates to an overall picture of having your own business, how to navigate that by supporting your mental health, which is a big reason why I started working for myself, is because I just couldn't get anywhere working for companies. I did great. I made my way up. I'd always get promotions, but at the 2-year mark, I would get bored and I'd be like, oh, this isn't really for me. Anyway, and then I just would go to a different company, or some companies. I stayed with one company for like years. But anyway, every topic's not going to be about business, but a lot of it is to do with the foundations that you need to have to maybe start your own business, or to be able to work for somebody else and for them to support your neurodivergency. So I just kind of wanted to clarify that. Something else that I think a lot of you will relate to is not just sticking to one thing. So right now I have my main business, Wild Creative. Then I have 3 other side projects that I'm currently working on. And people have always told me, like, just focus on one thing. What if I can't? What if I don't want to? Well, I don't. I don't want to, and I can't. I can't just have one. I try and do my best for what I can. I'm really grateful and lucky that I have retainer clients. So that's my base. And then I get to do like a lot of other things, like fun things like the podcast and everything around that, which I don't get paid for, but it's just my passion. And that's why I need to have multiple things going on. So if I'm not recording podcasts, I'm not working on client stuff, I'm hanging out with my family, or I'm starting some new idea, starting some new hobby, or something to do with another business or something like that, or creating content. I love creating content, and that's what I've really developed. One of the services in my business is a lot of content stuff, so that's fun. I've also recently embraced working at any time and not having to have a rigid sleep schedule, because I'm the worst for having a good sleep schedule. There was a stage where I did have a pretty good sleep schedule. That was like probably 5 or 6 years ago. I think I just moved into my new apartment, and the window I had was really like I could leave it open and the sun would come in. So that would like help me wake up in the mornings. And I guess I was working for a company then. That's before I started my business. So at night, I wouldn't really do a lot of computer work and stuff. I'd just come home and kind of watch TV or go to the gym and then chill out and go to bed. And so I was going to bed at a reasonable time. So that's when I was able to wake up early and have more of a schedule. But now I get ideas 24/7. So a lot of the times I'll be working on my laptop until midnight, which is not the best, but that's what I've embraced like the last few months because it's what's been working for me. I don't really know if this episode actually made sense, but this is a few things that I've been thinking about and I really just wanted to get them out. And like I said, I'm currently unmasked and unmedicated, so this is what you're going to get right now, and I'm so excited for that because this is who I was when I started the podcast. Like, this is me. I've gone my whole life without any medication. I've dealt with everything on my own, and the best advice I can give you is just remove alcohol. And I know some people will need to take medication. I'm not against medication. I know that medication is very important if you need it. So I don't want anyone to feel like I'm dissing on medication, but it wasn't for me. I would have had to keep upping my doses and I just felt like it made me numb and it just dulled who I am. And I've embraced who I am, and it is chaotic. It is wild, but that's me. And I am passionate about anything I do. I love my family so much and my friends. Anyone that knows me knows that I'll do anything for them. If my mind's just never going to be quiet, then I'm more than happy to do this. But I have been doing some meditation lately, so maybe that would like kind of help balance me out a little bit, and not as much coffee. So anyway, that's today's little episode. Hope you've enjoyed that. I don't know how much sense it made. I will once I watch it back. But just remember, you are not broken, you are becoming, and it's all about progress, not perfection.